I told you, lady, that I love you. If I didn't, darling, I'm sorry.
Been together forever, fuck the weather, she ain't never changed. If I lose, you ain't gon' charge it to the game. I'm the one to blame, pleasure over pain. Sorry that you came, put money over fame, never been the same. But I've been deranged, never went insane. All them darker nights, they turn to brighter days. Told you that I never leave your side. Yeah, you always on my mind. I know you down to ride. Through the winter, you a prize. Trophy in disguise, you know it's up, I never lie. Down is where they try to keep me stuck, but I'm up high. Pockets blue just like the sky, I know they wonder why. I know they wonder why. What's going on, gang? It's DSCO33. Welcome to the BMW Trading Podcast. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about health being wealth. So, it's called Health is Wealth, so it's just better that way. But, look, when it comes to health and how it's really your wealth, like, if your mental state, physical state, or your spiritual state is not really in alignment, your wealth really won't come to you how it should. Meaning that we're all sent here to receive an abundance. Okay, we all have an abundance waiting for us. But a lot of times we don't align ourselves to receive it. Okay? And the one way that we can receive it, or the one way that we can align ourselves to receive it, is by developing our mental health, our physical health, and our spiritual health to the next level. Okay? So, first things first, what I want to do is talk to you about your mental health. Now remember, I'm not a doctor. Okay? I'm not a doctor. I am just an experienced life liver, and I can tell you a few things about how to develop your mental health. I can also just explain to you like what I've realized and what I've actually came to terms with over these last couple of years that I've been living, about 23, close to 24, you know what I'm saying? So first things first, like I said, mental health, right? And mental health deals with how we think, feel, and act as we cope with life. Okay, so your mental health, I'm not saying that it has to be in tip-top condition, because a lot of times we go through like psychological problems. Like, I've been dealing with depression for a long time. A lot of stuff I don't talk about. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but like, I've dealt with depression. I've been dealing with depression for a while, and like, that's just one psychological term like that I've seen cripple, and I've also seen it like, you know, like change a lot of people's point of views on life. And like I say, like your mental health, it deals with how we think and feel and act as we're coping with life. So if you're depressed, a lot of times like you're not gonna want to produce anything as being a content creator. You're not gonna want to move. You're not gonna want to like create any more content, and that's what you do. Like in the last episode, I was talking to you about consistency. If you're going through that depression, like consistency, for what? Why would I want to do anything? And I'm feeling like how I feel. That makes sense, but your mental health matters. You getting out of that depressive state matters when it comes to your success. Okay, so it's important that you develop your mental health, right? And not even just for your psychological, but just your emotional as well. A lot of times we take everything so personal as human beings, right? And not even just as human beings, just as people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we take everything so personal, but there's no need to bring our emotions into every situation. Why? Because our emotions fade. Emotions are just energy in motion. So that motion always is always moving. Remember, energy can never be destroyed nor created, only transferred. So if that energy is flowing through you, like it's always changing, it's always ever evolving into something completely different. So you can't let your emotional state control your whole mental. Okay, you have to learn how to separate the two. And then like dealing with our social status, like our social nature, like if we don't feel as if though we have any friends, we can't trust anybody, we feel alone in this world, that's also going to turn down our mental health. And I've seen that happen to a lot of people. It happens to me sometimes, because a lot of times I feel as if though, man, I don't have no friends for real. Like, it's just me and like a couple of my homies, for real. Like, not even my homies, like my brothers, the people that are with me daily. Like, I know I have people that are close to me, and there's also a lot of people that come around me, and I don't know if they really like want to see me succeed or not. So like that hurts my trust, and it also hurts the way that I move in life sometimes. Like, I'll be very judgmental about myself. I'll be very like, I'll always like question myself, and then like the way that I'm moving, and that's not good. Like, so it's like you have to just it's hard to really to gauge how people are gonna move, like how people are gonna move before they move in a way that you can't, like, they can't come back from, you know. So what you gotta do as a person, man,
You gotta just allow people to move on their own. Your social health. A lot of times, like, we have friends, but we don't know if those friends are, like, good for us. So it's hard for us to really, like, be with people all the time and want to kick with people all the time, because it's like, I don't know if they really are like my friends. Now, remember, that's just your mental state. Nobody's out to hurt you. Like, nobody's out to get you. You've done nothing wrong. And if you have done something wrong, then understand where you at. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, like, real life, a lot of times, that's not the case. Nobody's really ever out to get you. If things go wrong for you, it's because you need to see a different side of life. You need to see a different point of view. See it from a different perspective. Don't always take it as if though it's the end of the world, because you're still here. You're still here. Like, you still been able to watch this podcast, still been able to tune in, listen to me. So it's like, you're still here. So don't give up on yourself and don't give up on people because they have done nothing wrong to you. The only thing that you need to do is protect yourself and your actions. Okay? So how to improve your mental health? Quick few tips. Number one is like reading, right? Reading, and the main reason I'm saying reading is because it's fundamental, right? Nah, it was real shit, but like reading will actually help you to see a different point of view. A lot of times in books, like there'll be stories that probably are a little bit fabricated, but at the same time, like those stories are only giving you a point of view to help you out with your story. You know what I'm saying? With your life. That's why I like to read, because that's why I like to read the books that I read. I know it's a lot of different kind of books out here in the world, but at the end of the day, I read books that are more so mentally empowering, like books that will help you develop a stronger mentality, because life is nobody ever said it was going to be easy. So dealing with this life that we live, like we have to develop our mental state so that way we can handle what's going on. Because a lot of times people are going to fold on you, meaning that people going to like say they're going to do something for you and they probably won't. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that will lie to you. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to steal from you, cheat on you, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be a lot of stuff that happens to you in your life, but you got to deal with it because you're still going to be here at the end of the day, regardless of how they moved or not. It's on you, okay? So mental health is very important, especially when it comes to you elevating, when it comes to you developing your wealth as well. And the main reason why I say that is because me as a trader or just me as an investor, if my mental is off, my judgment will be off. My discernment will be off. Me being aware, me being more aware will be off. Just because I'm not tuned in with my mental state. I have a lot of knowledge here in the brain, but it's like if my mental is clouded with depression, if it's clouded with untrusting thoughts, or if it's clouded with just negativity, then I won't be able to move in the way that I need to get to the next level. And that's what's important to me. You know what I'm saying? Me elevating, me succeeding, that's important all the time. So it's like if I'm not at the right space in my mental, then it's going to be hard for me to get there in the physical as well. Okay? And with that being said, I'm going to talk to you more about your physical health, right? Dealing with our body and how it feels in relation to our well-being. Our well-being meaning like our financial state, as well as our security, our stability, okay? Like our well-being. If your body, right, your body will tell you what's going on majority of the time. If you dehydrated, your mouth is probably dry. Right? Like that's how you can tell if you're dehydrated. Like you need to go get some water because your mouth dry. So it's like, go get the water. Stop playing, like, you know. Or if it's like shit, if you feel as if though your skin is really flaky, right? Because I deal with eczema, so it's like I understand. That's another form of dehydration. So it's like, okay, I need to make sure that my skin is moisturized. Make sure you're handling that part. Or if it's like, it's always hard for me to breathe. So I got asthma, so it's like sometimes it's hard for me to breathe. The way that I can combat that is by working on my lungs. And how you do that? By running. You know, by working out more, by exerting your heart rate. It makes you breathe faster, makes you breathe at a higher pace. So that ultimately like pumps you in a different way. And then the consistency, like I was talking about in the last episode, like the consistency alone will build those muscles for you. It'll help you to develop your physical health. And you being in alignment physically will allow you to always make your meetings to develop your wealth financially, okay? So also understanding that like your skin, your bones, your organs, like all of those things will tell you, like I said, first of all, they'll tell you what's going on. But your skin, your bones, and your organs will also like, I don't know what else they'll do for you. I lost it. Put the hand in front of the thing. Alright, bet. Okay.
3, 2.
So your skin, your bones, and your organs, like, they're important when it comes to you moving forward in your day-to-day life. Like your skin, if your skin is inflamed, if your skin is like I said before, if it's flaky, if it just doesn't feel well, you're not gonna want to move. If your bones are aching, if your bones are broken, like if they're hurting, like then you're not gonna want to move. Same thing with your organs, like if your organs, like if your stomach, if you're not having regular bowel movements, like things like that, like they're gonna hinder you from progressing. So your physical health must be not necessarily like tip-top shape, but you have to be able to move around to make sure that you're getting to your money. Like that's a known factor. And other than just that part, like bro, you gotta get it together. Like you gotta make sure that you're on point, because you being in tip-top physical condition will only help you when it comes to success later in life. Only. Like it helps you. I'm not gonna say that it even helps you live a longer life, because I know people that have died just, man, tip-top physical condition and they still pass. Sorry, RIP to them. You know, but at the same time, like you developing your physical structure, you developing your physical itself will also help you live a longer life. You being healthy in that way as well. All right. Now, I want to go into your spiritual health, mainly because like with the spiritual, a lot of times we get like confused. A lot of times we get like these blurred lines. Now like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pastor. Okay, I'm not a physical trainer. None of that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm just an experienced life liver, and I just want to give you guys some game and what I've learned, like dealing with my spiritual health and my spiritual well-being along the way. So, spirituality is an experience. It's an experience of oneness with the sources of transcendent power. All right. So, with that being said, it's like spirituality is just you understanding that there's a wholeness about you, right? There's a wholeness about you that comes from the same power that you pray to every night. That comes from the same confidence that you feel when you're at church, right? Or from the same confidence you feel when things happen that were out of your control, but it happened good in your favor. You know what I'm saying? Like spirituality is just that experience of wholeness, right? Now, when it talks about like religion versus like spirituality, okay, or versus secularism, religion is more of a man-made way it's a man-made way to disguise spirituality in a sense, if you ask me, right? And the main reason why I say that is because with religion, it's still talking about it's still talking about getting closer to God. Same way as if you're becoming more whole with yourself, more at peace with yourself, is you getting closer to God. Okay? Now, it can go a lot of ways. When it comes down to spirituality, like this is a real deep concept, and it's like I don't want it to go over your head, so I'm gonna try and break it down as simple as I can. Right? I'm trying to just get like real simple with this. Like I lean more towards spirituality just because I tend to meditate more. I tend to walk with God more than I go to church. More than I'm spending my time in the Bible, more than I'm spending my time like talking to my pastor. Like I'm always meditating. Like I'm always walking with God. I pray when I'm doing regular things. Like even before this podcast, I pray so that way I do it well. Like I pray for everything, just because like prayer keeps me closer to God. Just like my meditation keeps me closer to the God that's within me, because I still create with my hands just like God created the world with His. Okay, like. It's a lot of similarities when it comes to God, because we are all made in His image, which is the same thing that most religions will tell you, is that you are made in God's image. So me being spiritual, me understanding my spirituality and my spiritual health, like I'm understanding that I'm just trying to get closer to God, and that's really it. Like I'm trying to develop the sense of wholeness within myself, the sense of oneness within myself. Because once I'm connected to here, I can connect it everywhere else within the world. Like, understand that everything, since I've been doing this podcast, a lot of things have started to not necessarily work out in my favor, but everything seems to coincide. Mainly because, like, everything has a oneness to it, a sense of wholeness to it. One thing I was telling you before, like, nothing ever happens bad to you. It only happens to be good to you. Like, you have to change the perspective on life. And like that's one of the things that will also, that's one of the things that will keep you living the life that you've been living, is your perspective. Your perspective also comes from your mental health. Okay, so let me explain how everything coincides real quick. Remember, health is wholeness where there was once separation. Health is oneness where there was once distinction. And health is aliveness where there was once death. Let me make sure that I got that right. Okay, so that quote that I just said was from Matthew Hine. You can follow him, or you can go to his website at spirituallyhealthyu.com/define spiritual health / again, right? And the quote is, health is wholeness where there was once separation, oneness where there was once distinction, and aliveness where there was once death. Okay, so basically what I got from that was that the health that you are developing, right? The health that is going to keep you alive, like your health in general, is wholeness where there was one separation. Like you had to grow. You had to go from crawling to walking. Like you had to go from having a broken finger to having a fixed, workable, movable finger. You know what I mean? Like you had to go through the separation to get to that wholeness, to get your health back, right? Same thing, oneness where there was once distinction. Like it used to be a separation here. But now you can't tell if this is the same or not. That's the oneness, right? And then aliveness where there was once death, right? So you ever notice if you get like an open sore, something like that, like you'll get like a scab will start forming. Once there's separation, that ultimately means like the wholeness isn't there anymore, right? So say I was to have cut my thumb. I wish I could show you guys the scab. I don't really have that many right now, but say I was to have cut my thumb or whatnot. There's separation there now, right? Separation there now. It's not one anymore. It's a distinct separation, okay? And eventually, like, not saying the skin is dead, but that scab that's forming is dead skin, okay? It's dead skin. So it has to come back alive. Like once this scab heals back up, now it's back healthy. Now you would say that your hand or your thumb that you cut is back healthy, right? You're back good to go back to work. That's what this is. Like you dealing with health problems. It's just you being broken at a certain point, and then you taking the time, or you allowing for time to come through and fix that, which was broken. Fix that with which was broken. All right. So you have to start to allow for things to work out in your favor too, right? Dealing with how everything coincides. Like nothing will happen without you wanting it to. Nothing will happen without you noticing that it's not happening for you. You have to start to see the life that you want. You have to start to want certain things that are different from what you've been doing this whole time. And maybe the reason why I'm saying all of that is because it starts in your mental. Like you wanting things start with your mental health. You seeing something, like a lot of times we get caught up in Instagram. A lot of times we get caught up in watching our friends like live out these lives that we want too. Like they're living out the life that you said you were going to live. But that doesn't mean that you stop living. That doesn't mean that you decide to separate from life in general. That doesn't mean that you decide to distinguish yourself as not that person anymore. That doesn't mean that you separate yourself or you distinguish yourself as you can't have that kind of life anymore. Like there's no difference between you and that person either. It's just that they don't give up. You got to stop giving up on yourself, because that ultimately kills your mental health. That ultimately kills your physical health, and that ultimately deteriorates your spiritual health. You believing in yourself is like the key to success. Really. It's the key to you having anything you want to in life. You just believe in the fact that you can, believing when nobody else does, believing continuously and consistently. Okay? Now, there was this clip that I seen I watch podcasts, right? And I watched DJ Academic's podcast, and he had NLE Choppa on his podcast the other like couple weeks ago, dealing with this Lil Durk and NBA YoungBoy beef, whatnot is going on. I don't condone beef, so I'm not gonna talk about it at all. But I wanted to actually bring up the clip, right? So I want y'all to watch this clip, and then like in the comments, just tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about it, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and get into it real quick.
Like this cycle we in as black men is a never-ending cycle. Cause at the end of the day, bro, we one person. We got one conscious mind. That's why when I'm thinking something, they might be thinking the same thing. Cause at the end of the day, out of us being black, white, Hispanic, whatever, we are a human being and we are one race. So when you do
what he said on the clip was that we are all one being. Basically, that's what he said. We are all one being. Okay. So With that being said, like, understand that there should be no beef. There should be no issue between me and myself. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we're the same person. There's no difference between me and you, right? That's why I can't see anything as if though it's coming to harm me. I look at everything as if though it's coming to help me. Whether it be a loss, whether it be a gain, whether it be a setback, whether it be a step up, it's always another opportunity, and that's it. It's always an opportunity for me to see it a different way, for me to actually get my leg up in the industry or get my leg up in a different light. Okay, so it's like, never take things for granted. Never take things for like, what is it? Never take things for granted, and just don't never take anything to heart. Like, allow for things to work out for you in your favor, because things will, especially if you got your head on right. Okay, so mental, physical, and spiritual are all things that you can develop every day. You can develop them alone or with a group of people. Just remember that without having them three things in order, attaining or maintaining wealth won't be as easy as they make it seem. All right. Now, obviously, like, you're not gonna get it all together today. You might not have it all together tomorrow, but in due time, like over time, with the consistent action, you'll get where you want to go, whether it be with your physical health, mental health, or your spiritual health. I don't really condone like medicine. Like, I don't really condone like man-made things, because God gives us the earth, which provides you with abundance. That's the abundance that I'm talking about. Like, you can have abundance without having money. You can have everything that the world has to offer you without having a single dollar. Like, I've gone broke and not complained, and things have worked out in my favor regardless of me having money or not. I've still been able to go into clubs. I've still been able to pull girls with no money. I've still been able to get haircuts with no money. I've still been able to develop skills with no money, because I still got time. Okay? If you got time, you can do whatever you want to, but when that time, like, where's your mental health at? Where's your physical health at? Where's your spiritual health at? And if those things need attention, give attention to those things, because you're all you have. Okay? If you're not working on yourself, somebody's working. If you're not working on yourself, then you're working for somebody else, and you're allowing for you to just fall by the wayside. And that's not what you want. Like, you don't want to end up not having what you asked for since you was a kid. You don't want to end up not getting what you dreamed for. Like, I talk to people all the time that would tell me, like, I have a good dream, and that what I'm doing is cool, but, like, I need to leave it alone and just go do something else. And it's like, I hear you, but that's just your experience. And that's an experience that I can go down as well. But it's like, that's not what I want to experience. I choose what I want to experience. And it's like, if I want to live an abundant life with material things, then I'm going to do that. If I want to live an abundant life with just non-material things, meaning like a bunch of love, trust, and positivity around me, then I'm going to do that. And eventually I'm going to get what I've always dreamed of, because time will tell. Time does things for you that no man ever could, that nobody ever could, that no animal ever could. Like, time will tell. And that's the one thing that God gives you. God gives you time and opportunity. All right? So make sure that you always choosing yourself over everybody else. And not saying that to, like, not be selfless. Definitely be selfless. And by selfless, I mean, like, give for other people. Like, always make sure that you're putting people in front of you for sure, but don't ever forget you. Don't ever forget, like, your morals and what you stand on. Don't ever forget where you're trying to get to. Because if you start to lose yourself along this way, what you're doing it for then? Like, your why, your reasoning, it has to be stronger than just the outcome. All right? And if you're doing it just for the outcome, that's when you'll start to decline in your mental and your physical and your spiritual health. When you're doing this because you want to achieve at the highest level, because you want to be the greatest person that you can be, that's when you start to excel in your mental, your physical, and your spiritual health, because you understand that you have to be in alignment with everything, right? Because everything is everything. Everything can be nothing at the same time. It's been the BMW Trading Podcast. This episode was health as well, and I'll see y'all on the next one. All right, be smooth.
Check out Season 2, the hit BMW Trading Podcast by DSCO, every Wednesday on the HausHill Entertainment Networks. BMW Trading Podcast helps you gain more financial literacy to a better life. Head over to www.HausHillEntertainment.com or download the free HausHill Entertainment app exclusively for iPhone and Android devices.